7 years into it now, I'm still learning so much, and there's so much I don't know. Every transaction is very unique in itself, and there's always something new.
Life sucks. I'll tell you that, things happen. So you really want it badly, you get yourself out of it.
All right, welcome back to Spill the Tea, guys. So today we're spilling the tea on all things real estate, home buying process. If you're a first-time home buyer, what to do, how to work with our guest today. So I am honored to welcome Huy and Lian to Spill the Tea. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you guys here. And I know we first kind of reconnected again because I saw your guys's first time homebuyers workshop, and you guys started bringing Pochi's drinks to that. So that was awesome, and we love seeing your posts about that. So I want to get into that a little bit later, but could you guys tell us a little bit about your own journey into what you guys are doing today? Because Lian, you're a realtor, and then Huy, you're a loan officer. Correct. So how did you guys get into that?
Yeah, do you want to go first?
Sure. So I've been in real estate for this is my 7th year. I was actually in the medical field prior to that. But, my interest for real estate, it kind of just came out of nowhere. I just thought to myself, I want to do something different, something where I'm in charge of my own work ethic as opposed to having a manager watch over my back all the time, waking up 5 a.m, spending an hour and a half, get to work, don't get home till 7 p.m. I wanted to be in charge of kind of my future, my career, my income, my schedule, and holding myself accountable for that. So I'm not quite sure where the idea started off, but once I did dive into real estate, learning about how the process works, learning about the markets and tying it into the economy and all that kind of stuff, it grew a really big interest of learning about real estate, selling homes, and being able to connect with people and be some kind of help to them, educating people and stuff like that. So
that's awesome. When did you get into real estate?
I think end of 2017 or beginning of 2017. Okay. But I know this is my 7th year, so I can't do the math off the top of my head right now. But
that's my job.
He's the math guy. I'll figure everything else out. But I think it was beginning of 2017. I got my license January 5th or something like that.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. For me, my background actually from banking, but the whole idea about real estate and being in the real estate industry came way back when I was younger. I'm an immigrant. I moved here when I was 13. My family, the first thing that they share with me as a child, I always remember, is you need to own a home. You need to go to college. You need to get a good job. Your end goal is to own a home. You have to have a roof over your head. And that's always something that's been ingrained in my mind. So I got into the banking industry first just to start out, about learning about the financial world, learning how to work with people, learning how to, help people. And I discovered that I was a lot better at doing loans and then doing sales versus, I left the bank as a branch manager. I managed 3 or 4 branches at one time. I'd had 20 plus employees under my watch at one time, and I just realized that wasn't something that I'm passionate about. I'm more passionate about working directly with clients, educating them, and helping them purchase homes as something that, the American dream, right? Because the home buying process is such a daunting process, but between the two of us, we make it so much simpler to everyone who wants to learn about the buying process, and that's just it's just something I'm passionate about, is helping people, adding value, and that's how I got to this industry. And the way that I got into the industry is pretty cool, because when I was on my way out of banking, I was recruited by, I think, 4 or 5 different mortgage companies. And the way that I made the decision on what the company I want to work with was I attended their holiday parties, and that was during the time of December. I wanted to know what it's like outside of the professional settings, right? So I attended all these holiday parties, and then my company that I'm working with right now stood out the most because when I showed up, everyone was there. They were very welcoming. There was past client, current clients, all the spouses, all the employees were there. Versus the other companies that I showed up to their parties, there was very few people there. We don't see the sense of community. I didn't see the culture behind it. And I'm all about relationships. So that's how I make my decision of moving forward this company and got myself into the mortgage industry. I just celebrated my 5th year anniversary being a loan officer.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been awesome. Within the last 5 years, I've grown a lot, especially working side by side with Lian. We've helped over hundreds of families reach their home ownership goals, and for me, this is something that I found my passion in, and I'm gonna retire doing this. So I'm very excited to continue this journey, and I have big goals for myself. So yeah.
That's amazing.
That's you guys are it's so cool because you guys are kind of like a dynamic duo over here.
Yeah.
Like, Lian, you help people find the homes,
Yeah.
and then you work the numbers for them, make sure it works
Yeah.
for them. And it's like I remember when Maylin was showing me some of the stuff that you guys were doing, the first time home buyers kind of
Yeah.
process and stuff. And then our drinks were there. It's like, this is such a great idea.
Yeah.
Just to have the two people that are going to be mostly involved in the home buying process. Just to be there and just kind of help you along the way and just kind of it's such a huge help for first time home buyers. I mean, I don't think people know what they're looking for when they're buying the home for the first time.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
When it comes to the process of purchasing a home, there's a lot of people that actually touch the transaction, and your mortgage lender and your realtor are the main people. Like you said, we're a dynamic duo. That's very true because we know each other's work ethic.
Yep.
We know what we expect out of each other when it comes down to just first meeting a person all the way to handing them keys. And that makes our transaction process smoother. We run into less challenges, less conflict because we know the expectations from each other and how to overcome certain challenges that we run into. Like when I run into opportunities where I have to work with like another mortgage lender, this is me personally, I find it difficult, and my expectation from them is I set it a little bit higher because I know what we does for his clients, and I know how his process works. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to work with anybody else. This is my guy right here.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, this is my guy right here. Just because not only because he knows the process, but I know how he takes care of the clients that we work with together. It's not just they walk through the door and then they walk out. We'll never see them again. We really build our foundation of business on creating relationships. We hope to make a friend out of every person that we meet.
I love that.
We don't just talk about real estate when we're working with our clients. We talk about their lives, their goals.
You connect with them.
Exactly.
Connect with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more of just like getting to know them on a personal level. And for me, like how I judge of who I should be doing business with is how well do I know this person outside a professional setting.
Yeah.
Because that is something that's very important to me because it's all about relationship, right? It all comes down to relationship, being able to understand how one another communicate to each other and to our referrals, our clients, our spirit influences. It's just really all about, having a good mindset behind it, a positive mindset, working together. In our, 5 to 7 years of being in real estate, we encounter a lot of challenges. But the cool thing is, when we do encounter challenges, we talk it through each other, and we're like, hey, this is what's happening. We're gonna create a plan to make sure that we're, solve this problem with one, and then not repeat the same problem for the next client and then the client after that. So just having the trust, having the knowledge and the professionalism. I mean, Lian is great with clients because I send him lots of, in the past, both each other, we're sending each other a lot of referrals. Anytime we have a conversation with my client, after speaking with him, they always come back saying something like, oh, this guy, Lian's amazing. He's really quick. And what I like about working with Lian is he's really quick. He's on it all the time. Like, hey, Lian, I just sent you a introduction to a client. He's like, I'm already on it. Like,
Nice.
That's
Awesome.
the type of
great.
the partnership that we have. And going back to linking Pochi to our home buying workshop, it was a great. to be honest, we were trying to bribe our attendees by providing your guys
100%.
delicious
100%.
bubble
The
tea.
sweetest bribe ever.
Exactly, right? So
Who
it's-
doesn't love bubble tea?
Yeah, who
So-
doesn't love bubble tea? So, but at the end of the day, it was like an added on incentives. And we were looking at, like other places, but then we realized, we want to support a local business. And, like,
you guys.
yeah,
Appreciate
instead
you.
of, yeah, and, instead of like just go out and,
Yeah, Azteca or something.
yeah,
An Azteca
yeah,
flavor.
and that was our original plan. I was like, we should do something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's also come down to supporting community, supporting each other, and we're all in this together.
Yeah.
It's just gotta work with each other. So
Which is so awesome because like I mean just even with your first time home buyers workshops and having Pochi's be a part of that, but even like all these other local businesses I've seen you guys do other like food catered from different local businesses in the area, which is amazing. So it's just from even that, like you can really tell like how much you guys really care about the community and like the relationships that you guys have with your clients. So that's just like really cool to see.
Yeah, we just love to connect with people, and our classes, we do them for free. We like making it fun. We don't see too many agents that are consistently doing first-time home buyer classes. We try to do it every month, every other month, whether our classes are full of people or even it's just one person. We just want that opportunity for people to learn. We're not forcing anybody into buying a house. We don't even care if they work with us or not. We just want, and from whatever we can provide, what kind of value we can provide, we want everyone to take advantage of that if they can.
That's great.
Yeah, the whole idea behind the class really was just us providing value to the community, right? Like buying a home is a daunting process, as many of us could encounter. But it's also a very emotional process too, as well.
Yeah.
I personally could speak on my experience on that, and that's what I usually like to share in the classes. Like, the day that I got the key to my home, that was the same day I shed a happy tear, right? And that was something that I share with my buyers all the time, and I. Between the two of us, we witnessed that in person, real life situation all the time. Anytime we hand them a key, they're like, "Oh my God, we're so happy!" Like, things like that. And that's to me, that's what's really rewarding. And in this whole entire process, like those extra 2-3 hours, every month when we put together these classes, seems like nothing because it's just more like giving us an opportunity to get in front of people and just show everyone, this is who we are, this is what we do, and we're here to help. And it's not, we're very easily approachable. So it's one of the things that I hope that, through this podcast, we can speak to the potential first-time home buyers here is that we're here to help. So if you're interested in joining us, reach out to us, and we're more than happy to definitely get you guys in to our classes.
Fantastic. Well, I know our audience today are going to be primarily one or two people. One, either people who are looking for a new home, first-time home, second home, wherever they're at, they're looking for something. And our second audience set may be the people who are interested in real estate. So you guys both have that. And I love that you guys touched on the work ethic because I can already tell that you both have exceedingly great work ethic.
Thank you.
But I kind of want to address the elephant in the room. Can we just like look at the outfits? Like, Lian and I didn't get the memo on this.
We didn't plan this.
Yeah, we did not.
We should have messaged each other and said,
I was like,
let's wear this.
Yeah, all that great. Yeah, I have a hat too, ready to go. But like down to the shoes, everything. So I don't know how this happened.
I know, right?
Hey, I have my fiance to thank for that.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah, thank you,
She's
Michelle.
on point.
Yep. She didn't like my first outfit, so she's like, "You gotta change." I was like, "Okay, babe."
That's true love right there.
Yeah. Happy wife, happy life, right?
Hey. Well, okay, so I guess let's go with first home buyers.
Yeah.
Like it is Spill the Tea. So for those people watching the show and listening to this episode, like what are the biggest? I know the home market is insane right now.
Yeah.
Right. It's always crazy.
It's always crazy.
Not too long ago, Maylin and I just refied our house too, right? And insane amount, like the interest rate.
Yeah.
That was crazy because we refied right before the interest rates jumped, so we got in
You're
like
lucky.
a ridiculous 2.5,
so
I think.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, and it was like
So good.
what, and then
That's
everything
great.
skyrocketed. So now, like people who are looking to buy a home,
Yeah.
with the interest rates up to like, gosh, is it like 7?
It's
and a half now?
between 6.5 to like
6.5?
7% right now, depending on the loan program, credit
Yeah.
score, and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Right?
So what do you guys what tips would you guys have for those home buyers that are in the market now?
Yeah. In my honest opinion, right now is if you're on the market to buy a home right now, it truly is the really, really good time to buy a home. Regardless of what the rate does or what the market does, the only reason behind that is there's a lot more inventory is sitting on the market a little bit longer. Sellers are willing to give out concessions, sellers credit, and we've been educating a lot of our first-time home buyers that there are other options out there that could help them reduce the monthly payment for the first 2 years, 2 or 3 years, so then introduce them into home ownership at a lower cost by utilizing seller's credit to pay for those differences. And this is something that we've been, the narrative that we've been really trying to push out to a lot of our audience, a lot of our, when it comes to the class, this is what we talk about.
Right.
Yeah, so there's a lot of options out there. Just don't think of interest rate being high as a stop.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, getting a home is easy. It's maintaining your monthly payment and maintaining a house is the harder part. Yeah. Right.
100%.
100%. So
100%.
yeah. So when what I do really is when I work with first-time home buyers, instead of going and say, hey, what's your maximum budget? I dig deep and find out what's your comfortable monthly payment range, because that's something they're gonna have to live with for the next 5, 10, 15, even 20 years. First-time home buyers don't stay in their home more than 5 or 10 years because situations do change. As long as they feel comfortable with the monthly payment, that is something that I should look forward to versus I want a big house as my first home. I want this, I want 3-car garage or whatever the case might be. Don't fall in love with the house, fall in love with the monthly payment, because that is something that's going to help you maintain your status of being a homeowner, having a comfortable monthly payment so then you can have extra funds that you have put aside for other financial needs, extra reserve, vacations. Because the one thing that I tell my buyers all the time is I don't want you to exhaust all of your resources just to pay your mortgage payment, just to live. You also have to have a life outside of this. Outside of working, you need to have funds to like go on vacations, because I'm a huge advocate for work-life balance, because that's something that I practice on my daily basis. And yeah, but that's my honest opinion. Is right now is a great time to purchase a home. Focus more on the monthly payment. Don't let the media tell you that interest rate is high, it's not a good time to buy. There's a lot of options out there, and then sellers are willing to give out concessions and sellers credit that we can utilize those for other opportunity to make homeownership a lot more affordable.
That's great. I like that. Don't fall in love with the home. Fall in love with the monthly payments.
Yeah, 'cause
That's really good.
It's about the sustainability of
It's
it,
about
right?
sustainability of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How about you, Liam? What you got? Because you're on the end of helping people find the actual home.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I'm part of the process where we're submitting the offers. If there's other buyers, we're competing with other buyers. Those days they're not fully gone, but we're seeing less competition right now. When I talk to my buyers, I ask them, why are you buying a home? What's the most important about your next home your very first home that you're going to purchase? And whatever the market's doing, it really comes down to what's important to you and why you're buying the home. Is it for your family? Are you looking to buy something so you can live in there for like 5 years and then upgrade into something else? Is it just an investment so you can rent it out? There's so many different variables that go into when you're purchasing your home and what you intend to do with it over the years. Because as we see in history over the years, home prices have always increased. Even when we saw the crash in 2008, which we're not going to see now, home prices exponentially went up, especially after COVID. It really comes down to what's important to you. And like we said, there are routes to battle the high interest rates, like getting sellers to pay for your closing costs, or buying down your interest rate, which we would absolutely not see, in the past 5-ish years.
Yep.
Because it was a very, very strong seller's market. We're still in the seller's market now because inventory is, very low. We're under 2 months of inventory, which basically means it would take 2 months to sell all of the homes that's on the MLS, the multiple listing service for all of Washington.
Wow.
And that's just average because with Snohomish and King County, it's close to like 1 month, under a month. So inventory is still very low. There's still a lot of buyers out there. And actually, the interest rates were at like around 7% in November. It started ticking down a little bit. When it started ticking down, a lot of buyers came out.
Yep.
And these buyers that are saying, I'm going to wait for the interest rates to go down. Guess what? Everybody else is thinking that same thing.
Yep.
And the buyers that are going out there right now are taking advantage of sellers that are motivated to sell. Homes are sitting on the market longer, which means sellers are, depending on their situation, if they're moving or they can't pay for their mortgage anymore, sellers, they need to sell their home. And if it's on the market longer, they're willing to negotiate. So when I'm working with buyers now, we're taking advantage of that. And with prices, they're going down a little bit as opposed to where we were this time last year. Yeah. But as the interest rates decline a little bit, we're going to start seeing some more competition.
Yep.
And especially if the homes are priced right, are in good condition, and the neighborhoods that are popular, buyers are going to compete for those properties.
I noticed that there's a lot of people who do wait. It seems like the same people. I'm gonna wait till the interest rates drop.
Yeah.
And then the prices are up, right?
Yep.
So it's like now the prices are up. I'm gonna wait till the prices are down.
Yep.
And then the interest rates are up. It's like it's never a good time for them.
For the people that are waiting for like the prices to drop, or they're going to wait for the interest rates to drop, they're waiting for that perfect moment. It's really never going to happen. I mean, you're not going to get low prices with low interest rates, especially where we live in, greater Seattle area, because it's just growing where we are. Maybe if you move to like the Midwest or somewhere else in the country, you might see that, but interest rates are high, so that's not going to happen. But here, you've always got to make some kind of sacrifice when you're buying a home. Some kind of sacrifice, whether it's, dealing with interest rates, dealing with a higher price, competing with another buyer. And then that's when you go back and think about what's important to you and why are you buying a home.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I feel like a lot of buyers are on the sideline right now thinking exact same thing. What they don't realize is that same first-time home buyers are having the same exact mindset as they do. So once interest rate do trickle down, we're going to see an influx amount of home buyer re-enter in the market. That's when bidding war is going to happen again. What happened in 2021, beginning of 2022, where buyers, there's a lot of buyers because rates were a little bit lower back then. There's less inventory. So homes that was listed, let's just say 500,000, were selling for 600, sometimes 650. I work with buyers that put 100 to 200,000 over listing price just to get into a home because they want to secure a rate. At that time, that was it was a good move at the time because that's where the market is. But now, looking at it, if I was on the market right now, I would take advantage of it now because if a house is listed 500, I can go in and offer 450. Even though my interest rate is a little bit higher, I'm paying a little bit higher in interest rate, but I'm getting a lower price. And then when interest rate does go back lower, I can refinance.
You can refinance.
Exactly. So versus buying high, then you can go back to the seller and say, hey, I overpay for your home. What can we do about it? Unfortunately, it is what it is at that point. But your mortgage, you can always make adjustment to it. You can refinance it if you have, receive a big bonus or like some sort large of like big settlement. You can put that towards your principal balance as a recast and reduce your mortgage payment that way. So there's a lot of different options out there. But for now, I think if you're looking to get in the market, this is a perfect time to do it. There's not a lot of competition right there right now, and sellers are willing to help. So,
and if the rates keep going up, at least you've caught it at a lower point.
Exactly.
And if it goes down, you have the opportunity to refinance.
Exactly.
As long as you're comfortable with that monthly mortgage payment and you can continue to pay it. As long as you got a roof over your head, then that's
and there's all the talks about home price is gonna drop, but historically, if you look at the 10-year timeline, home price is gonna increase 7 out of 10 go decrease 3 out of 10, and that's what the trend has been. So if you're timing the market, it's never going to be the right time. What I tell my buyers is, you want to buy a house, buy whenever you feel like you are ready. Look at the numbers. If you feel like, work your budget. That's like, hey, I'm okay with making this monthly payment every month, and I need a roof over my head, and I'm going to be staying in this house for the next 5 or 10 years. You're making a good investment, because within the next 5 or 10 years, the home value is going to increase.
Yeah,
it's it's going to fluctuate, increase, decrease, but then by the time you're ready for the next home, you want to time it to where you're on the higher end. Sell it, you have extra money, use that money towards down payment for a new home. So really, it's it's all planning. That's all. It all comes down to, like, being very truthful to yourself as potential homeowners. What am I comfortable with? Why do I want a house? And like the main reason a lot of people why they want a house are they're either moving to or either like the family expanding, or they're moving to another state, or they moving out of their parents' house, or whatever the case might be, right? Use that as a motive. Use that as your goals. Don't pay attention to what the media is saying. Don't pay attention to what the market is doing. As long as you truly dig down and look at the numbers, and if it's comfortable to you, it's a good sign.
Yep. We know some friends who like kind of missed the timing on the market a little bit, because there was these homes they had found that were brand new homes. They were like cookie cutter build homes and stuff, but they were selling for like in like low fives, high fours, low fives. And it's a good travel away from where they work, and the interest rates at that time were really good. And they didn't get it because it's not the dream home. It's not what they wanted right away, and it's not. It's too far from work, etc. Yeah. They found every reason not to get it. 1 year later, the home can sell for $150,000 more.
Exactly.
It's like they could have gotten the home.
Yeah.
And
a year later, literally just flipped it, and then it's $150,000 going into their dream home.
Right.
So
yeah. Well, in their defense too, when I'm working with buyers, I tell them, if this home doesn't feel right for you, don't pull the trigger. When I tour homes with my clients, and I tell them, as soon as you walk in, if you feel like it doesn't feel right off the bat, just let me know, because when we're looking for homes in the future, I'm going to make sure this home doesn't have this doesn't have that. Yep. So, and also with that, it's like, if we could predict the future, everybody would be buying homes or not buying homes, right? But that's a good point, that the home that they bought, they could have bought, went up $150,000 in value a year later. Nobody knew that, and like even all people that bought their home during that time, they're looking back and like, whoa, like I just made this much money, and now we're helping. I'm helping people list their homes so they can upgrade into their next home, because they're using that equity as their down payment for their next home. So there's a lot of opportunities to take advantage of.
And the housing market is really. I know at the peak we were looking at our house, just the estimate of it, and it's like no way it's twice the amount that we paid for. It's
crazy
in a short amount of time.
Yeah, and it's a fortunate blessing for you.
Definitely.
For all of us that own homes.
Yeah, I actually got firsthand experience on that, because we bought our house in December 2020. Immediately 3 months after, our neighbor, same exact layout, everything, same square footage, everything, sold a house for twice as much than what we bought it for.
Wow.
Oh my gosh!
And it's
crazy.
It's right here in Linwood, and it's crazy. We looked at, and I'm just like, this is insane. Like, so that goes to show, like, when we're re-entering, when a lot of buyers are re-entering the market, I'm afraid that that's going to happen again, because we're really low in inventory, extremely low in inventory. It's really sad to see that. I don't know if you guys noticed, I've been driving around Linwood at this area lately, and I've been noticing a lot more apartments complexes are being built. Brand new. There's a lot of them. There's so many of them. So like, I have a feelings that we're eventually going to shift into a renter community a lot more than homeowners. So that could be next 5-10 years. So really, the opportunity is now. Like things are looking in a way that's favoring buyers right now. And so that's,
honestly, we kind of needed this to happen.
Yeah,
if
we do.
If the interest rates were still at 3% right now, who knows what home prices would be right now.
That's
So that's
true,
what people
yeah.
should realize is that, we needed this.
Yeah.
We needed, despite what's going on with the economy, with inflation and everything, I'm talking about just kind of real estate market wise, this is what we needed this is considered a healthy market. Homes are sitting on the market now on average from 30 to 40 days, whereas last year it was less than a week. Homes were selling, like I had a few listings last year and they sold literally 10 hours after I put it on the market.
Yeah,
One of them
I've seen
sold,
that.
I had one listing that was listed at 700 and I think 65,000 or 60,000, and 10 hours later I only had I think I had 4 or 5 showings just within like the first few hours of going live, and we received an offer 10 hours later that was $260,000 over asking price.
Oh my gosh.
And it sold for like 9, so listed 760 something, and it sold for like 9, close to $1 million, I think, over in Briar Malik Terrace area. So, and then when that happens, all of a sudden their neighbors that see that and they're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna put my home on the market.
Everybody's house around that
The
area.
whole neighborhood just exponentially goes up in value. And this is something that like a lot of people don't understand is what caused, this is my opinion at least, what caused the inflation of the real estate market is these really heavy not cash buyers, but heavily financed buyers going into the market, submitting offers at 100, 200,000 over asking price, and then the lenders orders their appraisal out. Their appraiser comes in and they say, this home's not worth what you're about to buy it. And then the buyer says, we don't care, we're going to pay the difference. The bank doesn't care at that point because they've just paid the difference. They added more money into their down payment to cover that difference. So now the home closes at 200,000 over what it was listed at. Now the neighbors think the same thing, and if there's a lot of interest in that neighborhood for that one home that sold for that much, that neighbor's going to sell theirs too. So those buyers that were paying the difference between like their appraisal gaps, I feel like that's what really brought like just inflated the prices of homes. Because if we had to follow all the rules like of like an appraiser and like what they think the value of the home is, and you couldn't close that gap, then home prices would still be at fair market value.
Yep.
But since buyers are paying the difference and they have $200,000 extra to throw towards that, that just shoots up everything in the neighborhood.
Thing to do.
And it was really common.
It was really common.
It was surprising. I didn't realize how many people had that much cash on hand to like spend on a home, and they were willing to pay that much over asking. I'm like, you guys are crazy.
It's all for a lower mortgage rate.
Yep, and that's just so they can get 2.5% to 3.5%. That's really the only reason why.
So that's just going back to his point. Like when my neighbors listed their house, the morning that they have the weekend that I have the house on the market, I literally walk out of my house and I look. There's a line of just buyers waiting to tour the home and waiting to go inside. Within 3 days, they accept my offer. I'm just like, should we sell our house? What do we do? But at the time, we're just like, it's we just move in here. We love our house. But at the end of the day, it's all about when you're looking at purchasing your first home. It's about figuring out a comfortable place that you're gonna be settling in for the next how many years you decided living in there. Regardless of what the market is doing, as long as you feel comfortable with that, that's really truly should be the reason why you should become homeowners.
What would you say for like the first time like home buyers who are, I guess, wanting to have a home, but you were talking about the sacrifices that you sometimes have to make as a home buyer. So like the first time home buyers who want all of these things, who have like a whole list of things that they want out of a house, but might not be like realistic, you know?
You've got to go out and tour homes because when I have my buyer consultations, I'll ask them, what's your criteria in a home? What's important to you? What, how many bedrooms do you need? Do you need a garage? Do you need a yard? Are you okay with a home, like a condominium, a single family home? They have this big checklist, and I'm like, you know what? We're going to try and complete that checklist as much as possible. But I tell them off the bat, like, more than likely, you're going to have to sacrifice one or a few of these items in order to find the perfect home for you. And you'll only start realizing that after you go out and tour these homes. Because people will say, oh, I don't need a third bedroom. I can work with 2. And they go into a home and that's a 3-bedroom. And they're like, oh, I actually really like this. The more you look at go out and tour properties, you learn more about what your priorities are, what's important to you, how does this home fit my lifestyle. But when you're working with like a married couple or something like that, that's when you're balancing the two opinions and the two needs and wants. But we always find something that works for everybody.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's my second favorite part of the whole process is going out and touring homes, because I learn more about my clients that way. I learn more about what's important to them, their lifestyle, and that's where I create my relationships with people. And then the first best part of the process is handing them the key.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I know when we got our home, it wasn't our ideal home.
Yeah.
Because there was definitely some sacrifices that we had to make. Because our first home that we wanted, we got into a little bit of a bidding war, and I was like, you know what?
Oh man.
Yeah.
No, we're not gonna do that because we're gonna end up spending like way over asking for a home that's gonna be there. And then we got into this home that was not,
Bottom of the list.
bottom of our list, a little bit further away.
Yeah.
But like over the years that we've been there, like we've really made it our own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like we fell in love with the home over time.
Yeah.
We definitely fell in love with the monthly
Month
mortgage
payments,
first.
exactly.
Yeah.
I love
So
that.
that was like, okay, this is good.
Yes.
And then like, the amount that we would have paid over asking in the other home, we spent half of that to make this home what it is now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we love it. And it's
Good.
great.
Yeah,
So,
same experience for us too as well. We toured 2 homes when we were on the market. First home was a brand new construction, wasn't even done yet, and we were like, "Ooh, we have so much option that we can, choose a kitchen that we want and this and that." And
new
then
and shiny.
yeah, and then we're looking at the price tag for that. We're like, I don't think it's worth this much for us to do that. So we end up going to the second house, which is the house that we end up buying. When we first toured the home, Michelle was like, I don't like this house. Like, it's just like, I was like, just give it 5 minutes, walk through it. Don't look at, what the current owners have set up for their furniture, like the wall, the paint, everything. Just give it 5 minutes, just let it soak in. And then she did, and she actually did a thorough walk around the house. It's a tri-level home, so she walked all the way on top, all the way in the bottom, and then she was like, I like it. And I was like, sweet. And then that was, so the funny story behind that is I kind of tricked her into buying a home. I was like, hey, let's go look at a house. Let's look at houses for fun, and then for fun, right? For funsies. And then the minute she said I like it, and I was like, all this cosmetic stuff, we can spend a little bit of money, we can make it into our own home, right?
Yep.
And and that was Saturday. Sunday came around. Monday we got the house. It was just, it's unfortunately because I'm in the industry, so like I was able to really finesse the sellers a little bit in ways of like presenting like that like the letters, like Michelle wrote a really nice letter to the sellers, and then I read it and I started to tear. So I was like, only imagine if hopefully the seller can feel the same. It was great because we moved in, everything that the previous seller did. We spent approximately another $15,000 to change out the fireplace. We repainted our whole entire inside of the house to the colors that we wanted. We repainted all the cabinets in our kitchen into white. In kitchen, bathroom, we did all the lighting and everything. Just additional $10,000 to $15,000. We made it our own home, and now we have a beautiful home in the beautiful locations that we're gonna be living in here for the next 5 or 10 years. So
Yep.
So,
and your neighbor sold their house for twice as much as you got
exactly.
your house for. So
Exactly. So
win-win.
yeah, it's a win-win. So yeah.
All right. Well, let's. I want to kind of get to I want to make sure we're adding value to our audience here, to our second set of audience.
Yeah.
To those who are interested in getting into real estate.
Yeah.
And I think there's a misconception of real estate and how easy money it can be and how
man.
fast it can be. Oh, you make so much on commission and stuff. We've actually had people who work for us who went into real estate,
Oh, good for them.
disappeared for a little while, and realized, came back, is like,
It's
oh,
tough.
it's
It
hard.
is tough, yeah.
And they're back, and then of course it's kind of like it's a big smack in the face of how hard it really is.
Yeah.
And you guys, Lian, you spoke about the work ethic that you've had. Both of you have had to do this. So I'd like to kind of touch on that and what it takes to be in the industry that you guys are in.
You really got to build relationships with people. That's the first and foremost thing that you have to do, because if you don't have those relationships, you don't have that trust from people, people aren't going to know who you are. Yep. You've got to make yourself known. And everyone that you know, whether you met them 10, 15 years ago, or you just met them yesterday, you've got to have a connection with them. With at least our business that we have together, a lot of our business comes from friends, family, referrals. I don't do too much cold calling. I don't do much advertising. I try and do everything more organically.
Yeah.
By just the relationships that I've created over the years. It's funny to think, like, I look back in my early 20s, going out to the bars, drinking, partying with all these people, having a great time, adding them on Facebook and Instagram. 10 years later, I get not 10, but a few years later, I get my real estate license. I go through all my, friends on Facebook and Instagram, and I literally go and message every single person that I knew, whether I don't talk to them anymore, whether I still talk to them. I made sure everyone knew on my friends list that I'm going into the real estate business. If there's anything I can help you with, or anyone that that has questions about anything, I can be a resource for you. So I really think it's about just creating relationships and providing knowledge, and the knowledge and skill you learn as you go.
Yeah.
I still, 7 years into it now, I'm still learning so much, and there's so much I don't know. Every transaction is very unique in itself, and there's always something new. So, the knowledge and the skill comes as you go on in the industry. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as for me, it's all comes down to, like, touching base in relationship is one, right? But it's also, you have to train your mindset to become a small business owner, because ultimately you wear multiple hats in your industry, right? You're a salesperson, you're an operations person, you're a marketing person. You have to do a lot, and for me, that's what I was expecting. I was anticipating. With my background in banking, I had opportunity to do a lot of those legwork up front. So created a lot of good partnership, because I was a board member for Chamber of Commerce in South Lake Union. This is before Amazon moved in. I met a lot of, like, CEOs of, like, PEMCO. I met CEOs. I've done a lot of, like, events with them. I've done a lot of events with Amazon when I was working as a branch manager down in South Lake Union. That really created foundations of me learning how to present myself as a professional and present myself as someone that I can add value to the other person's life, right? Doing that, attending a lot of networking events, doing a lot of in-person networking event, creating those partnerships, providing values, and what you do after you have met them will separate you from the bunch, right? So if you're, it's not just a one and done thing, right? So for me, when I go out and go attend networking events, and these days I do a lot of just agents, like, celebrations, like event and stuff like that. I'll just ask my agents, hey, can you introduce me? Can you bring me to your office's party? And then I'll go there. I'll try to meet new agents, and then when I meet and I feel like, hey, we have a connection there, then I'll follow up with them and invite them into our mastermind group. So I created this mastermind group back in August of 2022, where every Thursday I have that our agents and business partner hop on a call with me, and we'll do a Zoom call, and we'll talk about our successes for the week, our losses for the week, what are some struggles that we're going through, what can we do to mitigate those struggles moving forward, as well as helping each other on the lead generation part, because at the end of the day, it's all about sales. So you gotta train your mindset. That's the number one tip is train your mindset, staying away from the 9 to 5, like clocking in, clocking out. There's a lot, after 5 o'clock, there's a lot more hours left that you can actually put in a work towards something. So if you really have a goal to be successful in any industry, really put in the extra work, change your mindset, create a schedule, and follow your schedule. That's the thing. And time blocking is a huge thing for to be successful in this industry, because like I said, we wear multiple hats. If we don't time block to do our lead generation, whether social media posts, making reels and things like that. Like those are the things that you have to build into your business in order to be successful in this industry. Yeah, that's what I have.
I believe that. I mean, like, I know, like, for as business owners, right? Like, you guys pretty much own your own business. You run your own time.
Yeah.
40 hours, the 40-hour work week, 40 hours is for survival, and everything after that is for success.
Exactly.
So it's like, how
That's
often
true.
have you guys spent more than 40, 60, 70 hours in a week
So many.
just grinding for your clients, just
Yeah.
making sure they have the right home, just making sure they have the right finance set up.
Exactly.
It's not easy, especially like running your own business. You do have to be very disciplined.
You have to fall in love with the process.
Yeah.
Don't
You
fall in
have to
love
follow
with
the
the end goal.
process.
You really got to love the process that takes you to success.
And I think that's the misconception when a lot of people, follow real estate agent or like, successful loan officer on Instagram and like, oh my God, they're just like flexing, oh my God, it's such an easy job. But what you don't see behind closed doors to get there, that's another story.
Yeah.
Because that's what determines your success. Because like you said, 9 to 5 is just, something that you can clock in your hours and be comfortable with. But if you want to grow, you got to put in the extra hours. So.
Yeah, and then those are the people who are reaping the rewards. That's why they're able to do those things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They put in that work.
Exactly.
And you got to stay on track. There's so many distractions that, this goes for anybody, and it doesn't matter if you're in business or you're trying to lose weight for like a wedding or something like that. Like distractions and things from the outside that can cause you to fall off track. If you're looking to go into like real estate or in the lending business, you have to make sure that you don't let your distractions stop you from your ultimate goal. And following your routine, following your daily activities that you should be doing. If you follow those basic concepts, you'll be successful, and you have to have a positive mindset. I totally believe in the law of attraction. Waking up every morning, manifesting what you want, and going out there and getting it. And I think, for me, I know probably with we as well, something that we wake up and we think every single day until we go to bed, whether it be about helping people buy and sell a home or just taking care of our family or anything in our lives, really. Yeah.
The law of attraction is real.
Yep.
It's definitely real. I, even before we purchased a house, every day I have this thought in my mind. I want to drive home, walk into the garage, and I see Michelle cooking dinner. And that's like something. This is prior to us buying a home, and we were living in an apartment at the time. And I was like, I want that, and that's what I want. That's what I look like. That's what I look forward to, so many years. And then eventually, you get yourself in a habit, and you get yourself in like a growth situations where you're learning more about yourself, you're discovering new things about yourself, and then you're growing, and then you get to the point where you're like, okay, I can do this. But it's all start with the wants, the needs, and like the willingness, the willpower to make it happen. So yeah, it's just like I said, mindset is huge.
Yeah,
I'm a
so
huge believer
big.
of that. So big, yeah.
And being able to like visualize that too is so
Yes.
important
Yeah.
because it's like if you can't see yourself there, how are you going to even get there?
Exactly.
You know?
Right. Yeah. Like I haven't done it myself personally because I have everything in my mind, like what exactly that I want for my life. A lot of people write it down, put it on the wall, just a daily reminder, like this is the goal. This is what I want. What am I going to do to, get that car, get that house, have this family? What am I going to do about my health? Put it out there.
Yeah.
Let the universe know that whatever you want, put it out there and it'll come. Yeah. You just have to know that it's going to come.
You have to trust the process. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Trust the process.
Trust the process. Because
Yeah.
for me, a win it consists of like not just achieving results, but if you're even 1% better than you were yesterday, that's the
Absolutely.
win. Because
Yeah.
you're growing. We're human. We're so easily immune to we're a creature of habits because we're so where we find comfortable, that's what we're gonna stick with, right? Get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you just gotta do it. If you really want it badly, go after it and visualize it, put a plan together, make it work. Because at the end of the day, it's not all as we're sitting here, it's not like we haven't been through a lot of struggles, because we have. You know, there's
For sure.
like there's a lot of struggles, there's a lot of wins, but the cool thing is we just have to celebrate every single win. Celebrate the fact that, you know, are alive and we're able to like offer our value to everyone else, and then just being able to do that, just be in a positive mindset, just focus on that. It's gonna change your life entirely.
Yeah, for sure.
And I learned that through, you know, like reading books. I learned that through like taking personality tests, and that's something that's what got me to realize that what I'm good at. Like, I'm good at nurturing people. I'm good at, you know, I'm passionate about helping people, and that's through my personality test, and that really gave me a confirmation of like, okay, I can do this. Like that was the first thing I did, is figure out who I truly am, and then what my personality trait are, and then how I can apply what I'm good at to help other people and to become a lot better at what I'm good at. So.
I love that. So you guys pretty much doubled down on the things that you are good at and really honed in and focused on those
Yeah,
things.
and there's things that we're not good at, and we need those things in our lives. You know, making mistakes. You know, nobody's perfect. We always strive to be perfect, but you know, whatever mistakes you make in life, that's just going to make you a better person.
Yeah.
Regardless of whatever it is in life. Yeah.
Progress over perfection.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Progress over perfection.
I mean, I don't think there's any successful person who hasn't failed,
Right.
made mistakes,
No,
right?
any successful person
Yeah.
has tried more times, or has failed more
Failed more
times than we
times.
probably
Yep.
tried.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. All the greatest athletes, you
Yep.
know, all these entrepreneurs, they've gone through a lot of failures to get to where they are.
Yep,
Exactly.
And
absolutely.
that's I think that's what everybody should
Yeah,
strive to be.
And it's just, you know, when you're in the stage of failure, how you get out of it will determine the character you are.
Yeah.
You know, so that's really, at the end of the day, you really want it badly, you get yourself out of it, you know.
Every failure, every like mistake or struggle, it's like a learning opportunity.
Exactly. Yep.
So you either win or you learn, because the only
Yeah.
time you actually ever fail is when you give up.
Yes.
But every
Exactly.
every
That is
opportunity
failure.
is just the opportunity to learn something new.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, you know, when I came into the industry, I expect failures. Like,
Yep.
I know, like, I mean, you know, I left a good paying job to do something that's entirely unsure of whether I'm going to be making the same amount of money as I'm making within the next couple of years. Because business owners, you guys could relate to this.
It's a leap of faith.
It's a leap of faith.
is.
I
really
you know, my
is.
analogy that I use for that is, you know, it's pretending you pushing a boulder up this hill, right? In the beginning, it's gonna be really difficult. Like, you're just gonna constantly pushing. There's gonna be times where the boulder's gonna push you back, but you gotta keep, just gotta keep pushing until you get to the peak. Things gonna start rolling on the other hill, and that's when you're gonna start reaping the benefits of all the hard work you put in within the past few years. And that goes to show, you know, that with all business owners, you know, successful business owner, that's what they do. Statistically said, you know, new business owner, they're not if they don't anticipate failure within the first few years, they're not going to be successful, because you can't go in and expect everything's perfect, because life sucks. I'll tell you that, you know, like, you know, things happen. So, you know, just be true to yourself, really trying to figure out who you are, you know, figure out what you're good at, and then apply what you're good at to the world. And that's my piece of advice.
I love that. Man, we have some good stuff today.
I know,
This is
yeah.
so cool.
Thanks.
Well, thank you guys for coming today. I really appreciate this. I know you guys are always busy. And
Yeah, no,
I mean, we see some of your stories and stuff, and I appreciate you guys just making the time. Also, like, it's so great that you guys have Boba at your guys's.
Oh, yeah.
That's really cool. That was my favorite thing. But yeah, thank you so much. Any last words of any last tips or anything like that, or last little bits of knowledge that you guys want to drop before?
I mean, if you're interested in checking out our first-time home buyer classes, you can check out our Instagram page. We don't have anything planned coming up right away, but we'll probably have something coming up in the next couple
we're probably
months.
looking at potentially beginning of May.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
for our next home buyer class.
Perfect. So if you guys want to get a hold of these guys or follow them, we will definitely have their links on our description for you guys. So be sure to check that out.
Awesome.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much
guys
for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We're
This
looking
is
forward
really
to this.
fun.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you
And
for
congrats
joining us.
on the Marysville location. That's
Hey,
big.
thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank
And
you.
seeing you guys
remember-
grow, I'm like, wow, this is
There's been a
cool.
lot of failures along the way. I'll tell you that. A lot of challenges.
Hey, what being a business owner without
Yeah.
failures and challenges?
It
right?
takes grit.
Yeah.
It
It
takes
takes-
grit, and you
yeah,
gotta love the
for sure.
process. So.
Yeah.
You gotta love the process. That's
Have to.
Yep.
Gotta
I think
love
that's the
bubble tea.
theme of the day, and good bubble tea. That's
Hey, all right. Well, thanks for listening today, you guys, and thanks for watching the show. You guys have a good day, and we'll catch you on the next episode.